So today we're going to be talking to you about DIXIT. DIXIT is a board game for 3 to 6 players, and its main goal is for you to get other people to guess what card you played, but not everybody. Not everybody. Real easy to set up, real easy to learn. It's a good game that you can play with, let's say 8+, but we played it with younger. You'll be fine. So, when you start, you will lay out, this is the game board, that is it. That's all there is to it, okay? So you'll lay out the board and you will pick one of your colors or the characters. It's recommended, again, 3. I would never play this with 2. 3 is pushing it kind of, 4, 5, 6 is better. Because the more players you have, the more cards you're going to have out. Speaking of cards, this stack is only a portion of the cards that we have. And these, they like the game, let's put it that way. But each player is going to get 6 cards. Do not show them to the other players because that could get awkward. They also get a number of these guess tokens, because what's going to happen is the active player, okay, looks in their hand, and I'll show you some of the cards. The active player picks one of the cards in their hand and they give it a phrase. Let's see. Let's just pick this one at random. And you could say avatar with this one. It's just you're given trying to give a context clue to whatever's going on in the image. This one you could say Jacob for Jacob's ladder. You could say cotton candy for the clouds. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter. It's up to you to decide what you're going to say. But let's say we said avatar for this one. Okay? Now they don't know what we're talking about. The only thing they know is we said avatar and we put our card down. They will then look in their hand of 6 cards, because every player will have 6, and they will try to find a card that they think closely matches what you were talking about. Okay, and I'll just pick another ring. What you do then is shuffle the cards. Put them out. So again, the other players don't know which one of these cards is yours. And you flip them over and you reveal it. You can say the clue again if you want. Some do, some don't. And then anybody who is not the active player secretly puts down a number, 1, 2, or 3, that they think is the active player's card. So for instance, if I think it's number 2, I'm going to take my number 2 without anybody else knowing, and I'll put it face down. If they think it's number 2, they'll do the same. If they think it's 1, they think it's 3, you get the idea. It's not rocket science. Okay? Now, the reason they do it, well, 1 is so nobody else knows, but the scoring is based on how many people choose cards. So, for instance, let's say everybody chose 1, which we know was my card, the active player's card. If everybody chooses it, the active player gets no points at all, but every other player gets 2 points. So they would go sliding up on the track with their little bunnies. However, if we were a good enough clue giver, but nobody found it, active player gets 0 and everybody else still gets 2. The only difference is if nobody got the active player's card at all, you get a +1 bonus for everyone that voted for your card. So for instance, if this was player, let's just say it was the green player's card, and somebody voted for that, but nobody voted for the active, well then they would get extra points. However, if at least one player, but not everyone, found the active player's card, the active player gets 3 points, and the player who found it gets 3 points plus whoever found their card. So it's beneficial to not only for you to have people find your card, but not everybody. It's also beneficial for the people that find it. The scoring can seem a little tricky at first, but once you get to do it a few times, it becomes second nature. And you go and you keep playing. Each turn you draw another card, so you always have a hand of 6. And you keep playing cards out until the score gets to 30. Now the kids always keep wanting to keep circling back around and just keep playing and playing, which is fine. It doesn't hurt anything. And it does have plenty of expansions. Like we got this one, plus a few others that I don't have the boxes for anymore. So obviously I'm going to say that I recommend this game for anybody that enjoys the more abstract and creative kind of gameplay. This is not a story game, not an adventure kind of game. It is simply Cards Against Humanity for people that think. I said it, and I'll stick by it. There's a lot of different cards here. Like this one here. This one here has that little fish guy. So you could say to this one, Finding Nemo. And then other people could also play out cards that have a fish on it. Finding Nemo. And so on. Or something that might relate to that film. The idea, again, is to get some people to guess your card, but not everybody, which is why it's better with more players. There's a lot more variety then. And you do go through the cards a lot. You go through them quick, and you will get to see them often. But that's, again, why I would recommend expansions. I think they have a Disney expansion. Don't quote me on it. There's a ton of different cards here. In fact, we'll just go through a few. And I, again, would highly recommend that Brave. Or, again, something else that you might think, I've seen that, where we've had the same card, but people come up with different clues based on how they looked at it, whether it's looking at it upside down or right side up. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, if you're looking for a simple game that all of the family can really get into, I would highly recommend you grab DIXIT. I've never had any issues with it as far as people not being able to learn it and pick it up pretty quickly. The only thing was people that don't like the abstract style of games. They may not like this. But otherwise, go out and grab it. It's not that expensive. It's like, what, $25? I know it's cheap, but I highly recommend it. And if you have any questions, reach out on all the social medias at The Laughing Rogue, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Have fun.